The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine.
Hi everybody, welcome to What's the Story with Maria. This is Maria and we are so happy you are here. First thing I have to do is I have to give a shout out to our sponsors. Tonight we are being sponsored by Tremont Auto Sales. Woo! 97 Tremont Street in Peabody, Massachusetts. Massachusetts is where I grew up, so you know I'm very fond of that state, and I love Peabody. I spent a lot of time there. I've seen the trailers for Tremont Auto Sales, and they got some really nice looking cars. So please go see our friends at Tremont Auto Sales. They have been nice enough to be our sponsors, and this show is being sponsored by them. So thank you, Tremont Auto Sales. One more shout out. Thank you. Okay, so tonight, usually I have two guests, and I will have two guests tonight. So one of my guests is parking his car. That's what happens in New York.
New York.
When you have a car, you can't find parking. So Trent Kendall will be here soon, and he's bringing his dog, and I'm looking forward to that because I'm an animal lover. This is my friend Jacqueline Burke.
Hello.
And she is with us. So we're going to give a shout out to Jackie's going to talk about what she's doing, and she's doing so many things, and I can't wait to tell you about them. First, I have to give a shout out to my cousin Nicole Gauthier of Nicole's Salon and Day Spa in Stoneham. I was there this weekend. It was Kathy Roberti, my cousin's wedding, and we all went to Nicole's, and she was doing everybody's hair, and it was great. So congratulations, Kathy Roberti, and Nicole, it's always a pleasure to see you. Also a shout out to Patricia Kilty from Stoneham. She was nice enough to have lunch with me, and we went to the Greater Boston Theater. I'm going to be doing a show there, hopefully, in this year. So let's hope, knock on wood. And Patricia was nice enough to show me around. And you're a doll, Patricia. Thank you. So, okay, my first guest tonight is my friend Jacqueline Burke. I originally met her. We were just talking before this. We've known each other 15 years, which I cannot believe. It's been that long. Mm-hmm. And when I met Jackie, I knew her as an illustrator, an animator, a cartoonist. She had a show that I went to, and I was... You know, sometimes
Village, was it?
The one I went to was like at the Clinton Ryan.
Oh yes,
yeah,
Chelsea Clinton Ryan.
Right, the Chelsea.
Yes.
Clinton.
Yeah, it's a very long name. But it's a great place.
It's a great place in Clinton. It's called Clinton now. Also.
Yeah.
And so I went to see your show there, and I love your stuff. Your stuff is really.
Thank you.
There's Trent now, so Kate's gonna let him in. Thank you, Kate Fitzgerald. Okay, so but since that. Let's go backwards. What have you been working on now? And you brought it with you. I want you to talk about your book. So you came from that, and just show your book.
Why not? Yeah, I mean, in 2015, I released this book, which was the first published book I had here in the States, and it's called The Nanny Time Bomb, Navigating the Crisis in Childcare. And basically, I spent a year writing this because of my experiences as a nanny. So even though I came over here as an artist, I supplemented my income by working in the arts and crafts, and naturally gravitated towards working with children. So it's like 10 years of my experience working as a nanny in Manhattan.
And you find that to be a typical thing, right? People. I mean, I know most people I know. Of course, we're in the arts, but in order to finance your day to day, you end up working in other fields.
Right, it was basically, I made a very bad bartender, and I couldn't remember orders, I couldn't be a waitress, and I'm not very good with dogs, and I thought, I love kids, and I love doing art, why don't I combine the two?
Kids, so they're lucky to find you.
Yeah, and it actually worked out, and like I said, it supplemented, but then it became this whole other subculture for me. I became really invested in the lives of the women day in, day out, who were nannies for all kinds of families. And there were so many stories, especially amongst immigrant women. They came from all over the world. They had all of these great narratives, and I thought, well, why not write a book? And the reason it's called A Nanny Time Bomb, a bit of a scary title is because I think the industry as a whole needs to be brought up to date. I think that, with so many working families, we need a better industry. So that's why it has the title that it has. It's based on my blog.
Well, it's eye-catching, and
it does get your attention.
It really does. Now,
it's a nanny time bomb.
Okay, so let's put
available
this,
on Amazon,
let's put this right in there. So that's the name of the book. I'm going to put it a little closer so you can take a look at it.
Yeah.
And, just make a mental photograph of that, and then you can go back and look at that. We'll talk about that.
So,
I want to. We have people coming in. Jay Rivera. Hi, Jay. Let me see. We have Jeffrey Campbell.
Hello.
Kian's here. Barry is here. Patricia Kilty, I was just talking about you. Okay, and also Lisa Ramirez, my friend. Now, you were talking about nannies. Lisa Ramirez, this is so interesting. I didn't know anything about nannying, although I've taught kids for over 20 years, but I don't know that end of it. So originally my interest in this whole industry was Lisa Ramirez. My friend wrote a show called Exit Cuckoo, and she did the voices and acted out the different nannies, the parents, the children, and the immigrant, here we go again, the immigrant experience. So you are from England, right?
I was Mary Poppins. As soon as I opened my mouth, people were like, "Oh, you're Mary Poppins." So I was typecast into that role. But like I said, every one of my friends, every one of my peers came from all over the world, all kinds of experiences, and it is such a rich culture of people. And everybody's story was different.
So what part of England are you from?
So I'm from London. I'm actually from North London.
So you're from London. Okay, so
yes.
Wilty and Hall, if you're listening, we have another Londoner. Our friend Trent is in the wing, so Trent, just come in and sit down and get whatever you need, honey, and we'll bring Trent on in a little while. So you started off blogging as well, though.
So let me back up a little bit. Basically, excuse me, I came here as an artist. And throughout my whole immigration process, I was processing art visas. And then I was also writing at the same time. So the book, the nanny career, the art shows, everything kind of just collided into my immigration experience. So I'm typical creative in that I've got tons of things going on.
And you're a Gemini, we found out before.
I'm a
Gemini too. So Gemini's
which just adds a bit more magic out there and craziness. But I'm a new citizen. I mean, I wanted to share this with you. I actually became a citizen.
When did you become a citizen?
I should know this. It should be tattooed on my brain, shouldn't it?
But is this year?
This week. Actually, last week. I became a new citizen, and so now I'm fully invested. I'm here in this country, and this is it. There's so many things going on, and it's such a great time to be a new citizen.
And now I know that the book is this is really big. Are you still doing any of the animation, or have you put that aside?
I create my art on the side. It's very much a hobby, but now I'm virtually a full-time writer. I've got another book out with my agent, and that because the nanny book led to other opportunities. Obviously,
right, but you're a great writer, and you.
Oh, thank you. I love to write, and there's a social justice element to my book, and I still feel very passionately in all of the things that I write about. I still blog, and I have a baby.
This is really important. So we have I was telling her earlier, I have a lot of friends that have babies, and the first Emily McNamara and David Ingber, my friends, I actually officiated their wedding. They have beautiful little baby Lucy. I think she's maybe 6 months now, if that. And so they would love. Tell them about the blog again.
I'll tell you,
it's
called Baby Does NYC, and how it came about was as a nanny, you have to road test every piece of baby equipment like a parent. So there's like a million different things that you can do with all kinds of baby gear. So I began to review, I began to blog about it, and I began to realize that parents go through this massive learning curve when their baby is between 0 and 24 months. But every child is different. So when you're in the industry for 12 years, you've seen a few things. You meet a few experts. You get to know pediatricians.
Wow.
So basically what I wanted to do is bring in all the experts and give parents the resources, especially in a city like New York. There's so much great stuff going on for babies and toddlers.
That's a lot of
one
research.
space.
That's a lot of research.
Yeah, it is, but I was living it. I was testing it. I was being in that world. So I still write about kids. I still write about babies. That's pretty much my business
very
today.
Ambitious, though.
It's just I'm excited about it. I think
you're passionate about it.
I'm passionate about babies and kids, they're just wonderful, and I'm very passionate about New York. I think it's a fabulous place to raise a family.
And you know what's funny? A lot of people would think the opposite. They would think, I would never raise a child in New York, right? Have you heard that quite often?
Yeah, some people.
But I think it's a wonderful place for
But then
kids.
when they have the kids, it's very different. Then it's very, it's a village, right? So New York City is a patchwork of villages. So your neighbors become like a vertical village, if you will, in a tower block. So you get to know people in your community, and there are so many things to do here with kids. You're never really that isolated.
Well, my friend Ruth Lynn always says her daughter's now in her 20s, but she raised her daughter here and in Miami, and she said that there's so much free stuff to do in New York.
So much free
that you
stuff.
have no idea about. So,
right.
So if they go to the tell us the website again.
So it's called Baby Does, DOESNYC.com. If you Google it, all my social media will come up. And we often list on our calendar a low cost and free events because we want all New Yorkers to share in the resources that New York has to offer. So it's very important for us. That's our mission statement, actually.
Did you do that first or the book first? Which came first?
In tandem, in tandem. Because, like I said, my two worlds collided. I was working as a nanny, and then I was working with these kids, and I was doing my art and I was doing my writing. So all of these things kind of converged into one activity, if you will.
Yeah, but that's a total typical Gemini mind. How that goes.
It's a little bit clustered, yeah.
Yeah, but it's great.
But it works for me.
All right.
There's a lot of moving targets.
Okay, well, we're going to bring you back for sure, and then I want you to talk about also the other thing. And we're going to keep coming back to it. Let's. Why don't we bring Trent on? Trent, you ready?
Sure.
All right, we'll switch.
I'm going to switch over here.
Switch over here, and we'll put Trent in the middle. So my friend Trent has just come from. He has made quite an entrance here. He has come, driven in the car, and then he brought his. What's your dog's name, Trent?
Sure, let me just stop hiding that the dog is here.
No, the dog is. There's nothing to hide. I usually have Rizzo. My dog Rizzo's usually
the dog and myself.
She's at Judy's tonight, so it's not a big deal.
We're going to have to get tighter, actually.
The book,
she
so
can
the
walk
book
around.
is the baby. Okay, this is my baby.
Oh, okay.
Now, I used to live in the city, but
Yes.
I just realized he's never been in Manhattan.
The dog?
So I just talked. We're looking for, looking
Wow.
for space. That's
Yeah.
making it anxious. But the garage and the streets and the people, and he smelled two Lakers,
That's it.
and he got excited.
Hello.
That's it. All right. So let me. I want you to
Well-
get in your more, Trent.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yes, can you,
It's a
and
little-
please, let's all touch knees.
Yes, we have to touch
Yeah.
these. So okay, so we're all in here now. So Trent, now you. I met you how many years ago? Maybe like 15 years ago? How
Maybe
long?
1002.
All right.
Yeah. No. Literally,
It's a long
I know
time.
when it was. It was 1990, Marie.
Was it?
Yeah.
So we were like really like
Wow.
just youths, two youths.
No. And people say this all the time, but no, I mean seriously, it's not that you don't look different. We both look better.
We do both look better.
But
yes.
I mean, but it's still.
I don't know how that happened, but it did. All right.
Better technology,
So,
I don't know.
You, I've always known you as a singer,
Mhm.
and then you've been in a bunch of Broadway shows, and I had the luxury of seeing some of those. I saw you in.
I'm not gonna make you one.
No, I know. Look, my favorite thing I ever saw you in was probably you forgot you even did it was Bat Boy,
How am I gonna forget that?
right? I
No.
mean, Bat Boy was my favorite thing I saw you, in. And you played a bunch of different roles.
Yeah. So that was like right around. That was just before 9/11.
Oh, was it?
And the show was a big hit. It was a big cult hit. And every once in a while, I'm still able to squeeze some professional juice out of it.
Yeah.
But I will always have admiration of people who just fell in love with that show for the year that it was around.
Oh, such a great
And
show.
and it played right at Union Square, which
Yeah,
when
wonderful
9/11 when 9/11 happened, then Union Square, 17th and 14th Street is
Nice.
the lowest that you could go for a long time. Remember?
Right.
And
I remember that.
so if it wasn't for all that traffic and stuff, shows would go.
All right, so we're Facebook Living. So this is Trent Kendall, and I tagged you, Trent, so your people on your page can see it. This is happening live too. So, and then I saw you in Into the Woods, also amazing,
Thank you.
fabulous. And you did a bunch of tours. You did
Smokey Joe's
Smoky
Cafe.
Joe's Cafe.
I did.
Five Guys Named
Well,
Mo.
Five Guys Named Mo was in London, which was great.
All right,
My hometown.
Jackie's from London.
I'll tell you what, Jackie. I mean, if I could live there legally, I would.
Ah,
Just
common
that's it.
thread.
Yeah.
See, all right.
Because I wanted to live here legally, and it was hard for me, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what
We should just
I think.
exchange
Isn't it
passports.
harder to isn't it harder to immigrate to
From London to New York, which
Is it? Is that
yes,
true?
it is. It's very difficult. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork, right?
My thing up is like this. When I went, you know the whole British exchange. One of them
Yes.
comes in with it.
Yeah.
So when I went, I was only there supposed to be there for 6 months. Sorry, and I never thought I would be. I ended up being there for 2 years.
Oh, really? Was it that
It
long?
happens.
And so I got renewed 3 times. By the end, they were like, "Get out."
It happened to me. That was
Is that
my
true? Did you
experience
have to
here.
go back? Did you have to go back?
Yes, yes.
You had to go
And-
back and live there how long?
Oh, at least for a year. They told me, listen, clear off whatever you're
Really?
doing over here.
And
Let's
same thing with
let's
you,
wrap
you
it
had to
up.
Come back here?
It was like, "Get out," and in order to
Did they come and knock on your door? and say- But they said it with a British accent.
yeah, it was
Very
like,
polite.
it was like, "Get out," and
Please get
and
out.
Like, we won't renew your contract anymore, so
Wow,
you don't
that's
have
not-
work.
that's a scary
And then
voice.
also it'd be like, "We're holding on to all your tax money until you get
Oh,
out."
well, that was, yeah, that would get me out too.
That's rough. Doesn't
Oh
seem
my
very
God.
fair.
All right, so now you are working, you did Picture Incomplete, which is a show you wrote, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So that whole writing, like I'm gonna write and do my own thing. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, tell us about that.
You know, I tell you what it is.
What started that? Was it a financial thing?
Okay, I'm not gonna. What? I'm gonna write something I want for money.
No, but some people are like, well, I have to generate income, so, like Susie and I do that sometimes. We'll throw together a show because we still want to work in the arts, but we want to pay ourselves. But shows cost money too.
Let me say this, and this I'm not blowing smoke because I'm on your show. You know, I'm driving, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I was reminded, oh yeah, Maria wants me to do the show. So besides the fact that I love Maria, I was thinking about
Well,
the
thank you, I
connection.
love you too.
But more important, I was thinking, what has Maria done? I said, first as a singer, I remember standing there on the side of the piano, back in the heyday.
Right.
And then it was announced that she was singing a song from her debut album. And I was like, debut album? What she's got an album? A CD?
Yep.
I'm telling you, she was the first person in New York that I heard of having a CD.
Is that true? I thought everybody was doing that, but I guess
I'm saying my experience.
Right,
but this is early on, and no, everybody.
That's true. In '98, I cut my first CD. You're right. So I guess that was a big deal, right back then.
Right,
I think it was in '98.
Yeah. You're right. Then everybody.
That's very indie, like.
And
then I did my next one in 2003.
So
yeah.
When I was in London, I recorded a CD there that was supported by a label, but I was like, yeah, I should be pushing it here too.
Of course.
And it really set me on a. So I was like, when I first thought of you not only as a singer but as a person who produces for themselves.
Well, thank you. But that's what got me to ask you the question is like people like me and Susie, we're like restless. Like if I see you're the type of person that goes and auditions for these, and you have the chops to do that, and you get into these Broadway shows. Someone like me, I'm more of like. That's not really what I'm doing, so I have to create my own work. And otherwise, I'm standing around being bitter and waiting for somebody to cast me. I get too restless. So
I think the lesson that it took about 45 years to learn is whatever gets you there.
Yeah, right.
And whatever your path is valid.
And that's
I love
why
that. Your path is valid. I love that.
I think, sorry to interrupt.
No,
I mean, I'm
please
not a musical myself, and I'm not a performer like yourself, like an actor. But I do think creatives, we feed off each other.
Uh-huh.
We give each other permission
to
dare.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we need that community.
Yeah.
It's very important, isn't it?
One of the reasons I wanted to do this show, and I said this to Jackie earlier, and I wanted to say it to you, Trent, is my mission in the show is to showcase my friends. There's a million people in the city that you can interview because almost everyone's here to do something in the arts.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. I am interested in taking the people that I love, that I've known for years, and telling the world about them. And I want them to promote what they're doing. Because I know, just from living here almost 30 years, how damn hard that is. It's so hard to stay in this business, but it's so joyful when your stuff comes to be. So your latest thing that you're working on now is the Louis thing, right?
I have a.
Tell me what you tell me.
The thing of it is at this late age, learning that I actually can do more than one thing at a time. Because my thing, I am a self-starter, but I move a lot and then I stop. You know what I'm saying? Because and I used to just blame it on money, or I used to be able to be like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this to entertain myself while this job is running. But if I'm not in a show, I better not do anything because I got to hold on to the little bit of money I got. So it took me a while to say, no, budget yourself better, and things in motion stay in motion, right?
Right. Okay, that's another good one. Things in motion. Listen up, kids.
And all those years ago, when I remember you and Susie's, what was the first show for me? And I was like, I said, they can do that because they got each other. And I was like, true. Bullshit. I said, that help. Oh, can I cuss?
Yeah, you can cuss.
I said, so bullshit. I said, because I got people like Maria and Susie rooting for me. Who want you to do it.
You root for us too, though.
Yeah, and that's what you need.
But that's what we
stop stopping yourself, right?
Yep. And what we do in this town, in this city, and I mean, the people I associate with. Listen, if you're a jerk, I don't really want to hang out with you. I mean, we network and stuff, but I love who I love, and I love people that care about me, and it's the same way. We have to support each other. Like, I do go to as many shows as I can. It's hard because I work nights, but I do read as much as I can that someone else has written. I do care about what other people are doing. It also says if they're succeeding, I can succeed.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
And if you don't know that person, I'm going to leave you with a typical though. If you don't know that person, that you also should be, if that sucker can do it, I can do it.
Right. Exactly.
So you were asking me what am I doing, right?
Right.
So yes, I did have this one-man show that I did for about 5 years off and on.
And the one-man show was the Picture
Incomplete.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was about a guy in his 40s.
Yeah, well, look, honey, I'm in my 50s now, so 40s was my favorite decade.
So, it's not around there too.
Right.
So the thing of it is, did that for about 5 years. Yeah, other people are doing it now. That's great.
Right.
And then I've had this show all along that I've been waiting to pull the trigger on. Was this Louis and Ella?
Louis and Ella.
Now let me, besides
Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald.
Now, besides the fact that you need money, you got to get rights and all, you know what stopped me for a long time?
What?
I said, I'm too fat to play Louis Armstrong. So I would just do a showcase of it, and I put it away. And I'm always waiting when I get down to the right weight. Wow. Okay, so we're going to talk about weight too.
Yeah, we have to talk about weight. We have to.
Because obviously I'm very skinny right
All right, so let's stop for 1 second.
If you can squeeze between us,
I
you're
know.
pretty slim.
We're going to stop, and I'm going to just some shout-outs. All right, Leo Rodriguez, hi, sweetheart. Oh, look. Leo Rodriguez put the Baby Does NYC up.
Thank you so
That's
much.
my friend Leo.
Thank you. I appreciate
thank you,
that.
Leo. Charles Caselli, thank you so much for checking in. Tom Greenleaf, he was an early a duplex guy. He used to come in, so he probably knows Trent as well. So thank you, everybody. Just keep checking in. We love it. If you have any questions, I'm trying to read this as I'm interviewing my wonderful guests as well.
It's very exciting. Things keep going.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on, and your dog is so friendly.
And your dog is so sweet. It's kind of like being on the Chelsea Handler show.
All we need is a kid.
Walking around, right?
A couple of kids in here would be complete,
Have you
wouldn't
been on
it?
the Chelsea Handler show?
No, I have not. Although Judy has been. She's been in the audience. Okay, so what we were talking about now, Jackie, have you had experiences like that where you're working on something and I want to go back to the weight thing in a minute, but where you're working on something and you say, nah, I can't do that because, will you trip yourself up?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
And I'll tell you why. Because I was processing my art visa, my whole life here was on the line. And it helped me.
Pressure, right?
Massive pressure, but it kept me hungry, and I couldn't just go there. I had no choice but to carry on. So I did the shows, I got the reviews, I had a lot of help. I've got to tell you guys, I couldn't have done it without my community or my friends. So, but that does happen to me now. I think that does happen to me now,
But that's what, somebody said it takes a village, and also it is a community. We help each other out. You can come here, a lot of people come here, and that's another thing about the show. A lot of people listen to it because they want to move to New York, or they want to work in the arts, and hold on. I thought something was unplugged, but it's not. They want to work in the arts and things like that, and then they find that they get here and it's not what they thought it was going to be. Or they get here and they realize you better make some friends because you're going to really need them. And I don't mean a financial thing. Yes, that's helpful. It's helpful to have friends because if you do get to that place where you are down and out, you might need to borrow $10. You might need to borrow $100. But it's about having people that understand over coffee, like, listen, I'm working on this thing, I'm stuck, or I'm so tired of auditioning, or how many times can I keep doing this, or you want to give up, you're in the middle of a project and you so want to give up. And so that's why we need each other. We help each other out, right?
It's amazing to me. I mean, you know, and so many of us fall in a ditch on the way to wherever we're trying to go, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
And what would you consider falling in a ditch?
You can fall into a financial ditch.
Right.
You can pick up a habit. You can lose faith in yourself.
Be in a bad relationship.
You know, or one of the simplest things
Yes,
is
absolutely.
as an artist, or so you or an actor or a singer, so you need to keep your days free. So what do?
I'm just talking about this.
You keep your days free, so you get a job at night. You get a job at night.
You're tired.
You're up
get
all
up in the
night.
morning.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you do it?
Right.
Thank you.
You
for
burn
saying
out
this.
basically a lot of the time, don't you? I'm sure.
Absolutely. I just was talking to someone about this.
And I say that which is what when you say 80% of the people do that.
Yep.
I say that thins out the herd immediately.
Yep.
You know.
That's a really excellent point.
And none
You
of
made
that
so
has
many
anything to
great
do with
points.
talent, does it?
No. You know what Robert De Niro said? It's not the most talented people that always make it in this town.
There you
It's the most persistent. Because a lot of the talented people, not that those of us that, or those that do make it,
Right.
aren't talented. It just, that, you're right, thinning out the herd. He said the most persistent makes it. Because a lot of the talented, we're all talented in our own way. But you can't always stay in the game. It's impossible sometimes. I work, nights, and that's one of the reasons I like working nights, because I can go on auditions during the day, and you know as well as I do, they'll call you the night before at 6 o'clock and say, you have an audition tomorrow morning at 10. You're like, okay, you got to be there.
Yeah.
And let me say, I mean, and all of this is my outside perception of you. So if I got it wrong, you tell me.
No, you're right.
I mean, you've done it so consistently, so well. I'm not even talking about the talent part of it. I'm talking about I'm watching how you work a shift. Okay, you're even keeled. You know what I'm saying?
you, honey.
You're not
I try to
like bouncing. You're not like all dragging in the beginning and then bouncing off the wall in the middle of no injury. She's even keeled. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and you know.
Yeah.
You have to
Now let me ask you.
to be
'Cause now, if your shift ends at
4,
what time are you out the door?
5.
Okay.
5 a.m.
You're out the door.
Wow.
Are you okay? Let me check.
By
For
the time I
years,
get to sleep, it's 7 a.m.
it's not that I was a bad waiter. I mean, I just could never get a job at a decent restaurant. The best I could.
Jackie was talking about the same thing, right? You said you didn't want.
That's why I ended up working with kids, because I was a terrible waitress and I couldn't work behind a bar. I just couldn't do it.
So I mean,
Yeah.
so that didn't last long, but for a long time, even after Broadway, every time my money would go down, I would come to the duplex, I sing a song, and I sit back and go, I said, I need to get me a job like this bartender, make that money. Okay, for like 3 months, Maria, the bar across the way in Sheridan Square, I don't even remember what it was called. I worked there, I opened it for 3 months. I never got home before 8 a.m.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Well, I know the one you're
Not
talking
because of
about.
the job, because I didn't have the discipline to go home. I got to eat pancakes and talk crap.
Right,
No.
right.
You
No,
go
I
home.
know.
You go home.
Well, you know what I do? I mean, I've always been this way. Well, not always. Back in the day, I was a mess, and I had my own struggles. And I still have that with food and stuff. Like, I still like to go out to breakfast, don't get me
Well,
wrong.
girl, gotta eat.
Yeah, exactly. And pancakes, you just said it. Like, my bell went off in my head. But I really make a conscious effort to go, any job I have, I go to work, I do my job, I go home. Because it's very easy to get caught up in drama, anything. You do a show, you work in a bar, you work with kids, you teach. It's very easy. One of my teacher friends used to say, stay out of the teacher's lounge. I was like, what? She's like, that's where all the best, that's where gossip starts. I try to just do my thing, do it as well as I can. I don't compete with others, I compete with myself.
Well, I think
that's my sense about you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Of course you have your dramas. Everybody does.
Well,
I'm saying I've never seen it.
Well, thank you. That's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
compliment.
Of course you have it.
Jackie, what do you think the
I
drama
think-
comes in your business? Or does it? Or
Well, I just want to make a comment about you actually as a person. I think there's a dichotomy of you that you're so focused on what you're doing, and at the same time you're very immersed in your culture and your community, which I find also very admirable. I think the word balance comes to mind when I think of you.
Wow.
You've got a lot
Thank
of
you so much, you
equilibrium, a lot of balance, and I think if we're going to do the long distance as artists, we have to learn to really just find balance, whatever that means for us. It doesn't mean the same thing for everybody.
No.
Some people can't go to bed early or go home and just that's what they do. Some people need to eat and talk to their friends.
Right, and
But
I'm
find a
fine.
balance,
Yeah,
you
you're right.
know, eat
And like
well.
I usually, by the time I get to bed at 7 a.m., but I set my clock
Right.
for 12 noon.
There you go.
Because
And you
I
have a
don't want to miss
routine.
my day. And then I get my errands done, and then I go back to bed between 5 and 7. I take a nap. I've lived on naps for years. But
Oh, I love that.
Okay, so let me just check the time where we're at for time. It's good. We're doing really great. 9:33. So the show ends at 10. Let me. So, folks, if you have any questions for us, you want to ask us, please feel free. Now, also, I tell people every week, if you want to share our show while it's on, feel free to share it. Or afterwards, I save the video, and then you can share it as well. That's always helpful. So, I want to tell you this is how you can listen to our show. Joe Rocks, my boss here, gave me this new thing. It's digital. It's armed. ArmedDigitalMedia.com. This is the new condensed version. So if you go to ArmedDigitalMedia.com, you will get all the ways to listen to our show. And it's not just my show, it's a lot of great shows that Armed Radio puts out. So you get a TuneIn app, it's free on your phone, and you download it and you can get so many amazing things happening live. So our show runs on Armed Radio live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Then you say you missed the show, not a big deal. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Spreaker, Spreaker.com. I love the podcast because I like to listen to it in my car a few days later, and it's just a whole different experience. So Spreaker.com, you type in, what's the story with Maria? You will see, you'll start with the latest show going back chronologically, and it's archived. So you can listen to our show tomorrow, usually 24 hours later you can listen to it. So, all right, Jackie, I want to talk about what you're doing. So you have your book. Show us your book again.
Right. So this came out in 2015, The Nanny Time Bomb. Let's put it that way. But since then, I've been running my company, and I've also been writing fiction, which has been creatively wonderful.
Wow.
To go away from non-fiction into the world of fantasy. And so I wrote a novel with based on the story of a friend of mine who used to work in Wall Street.
Oh, wow.
And it's basically about her life on Wall Street. So, and it really is about the trading. We made sure that we kept it all about really the business and the trading. And yeah, she's a woman, but a lot of it is her journey,
well,
right?
That's going to be, I know so many people.
That's out there right now.
And she possibly falls in love with a really quirky, black Midwesterner who used to live in London.
I'm feeling that coming on. Very handsome.
Wow, okay,
yeah, I think so.
Networking. All right, so that's what you're, and so is it's based in some truth, of course, it has to be.
Yes, absolutely. And I also wrote a quiz show for based on the LGBTQ community.
I didn't know that.
Because when I first came to New York City, that was really my hub. It's where I went for all my cultural information on my people and activities and stuff. So yeah, I've done a lot of writing. So I've kind of gone from one world into exclusively writing. And my partner's an actress, part-time actress, and she does her own creative stuff. So I'm very in that world by default, I would say, probably by default, but very gladly so.
Can I ask you a question? I write as well, but what I'm saying is,
bring your voice up too,
not like it with the
the book itself.
With the writing.
Yeah.
Like, do you have several things spinning at one time, and then one comes to fruition, or do you say, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write this book about, I'm going to write this one to completion, then start something else? Do you give yourself a time frame? It has to be done by this time.
Interesting question, because in the beginning it was very much moving targets, lots of balls in the air, juggling everything, whatever one hits, whatever one gets traction, that's the one. But I've learned to focus on one or two projects and really give it my attention to see it all the way through, because otherwise you're spinning a lot of wheels.
Absolutely.
So that's just been my experience in the last decade, I suppose.
When do you find that inspiration comes? You do, are you like some of those movies where where they go away into a cabin in the woods and they knock it out?
Do that.
You know what? I can sit in a library in the city with all the noise. I can go anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, I can. I can just shut the world out. And inspiration in the cities everywhere.
Do you know what I've
right?
It's so funny. Because I do feel that some people said, I'm going to write from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today, and that's what they do every day, and they give themselves
I can never do that.
Yeah, no, me neither, because my brain doesn't, I'm all over the place. Do you know when I find the most peace is when I'm driving? When I drive, my mind just wanders. It's beautiful. Sometimes what I do is I'll bring a tape recorder.
Yes.
And I will literally tape while I'm
That's
driving.
a good idea.
Well,
and on your phone as well.
Yeah,
as an app.
you could do that now. It's so cool on your phone.
You can turn that into text.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
old school. But
How about you, Trent?
When I feel like, what do you call it, writing, whatever, like I said, it goes back to my old issue of don't stop. You know, that I don't have to be at the desk writing, but I need to be, like, the thing of Picture Incomplete was to see, to not go blind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to pay more attention to the world, and because that's where inspiration is. And if I get my focus off myself, then the world comes in, and that inspires me, and that finishes that thought and that idea, and that translates to me sitting down and writing it.
Wow. Okay. Is there anything that you both of you, either of you, do that to get your mind to free up? Like, I know that if they say that if you do a mundane task like a shower, washing dishes, driving a car, doing your laundry, that the creative side of your brain tends to open up.
Yes.
Do you find that,
Yes.
or do you find it the opposite?
No,
you go first.
if you get a roadblock, you go and do your grocery shopping, because the idea comes on the way home. Because you're just giving yourself the space to. Your brain is doing all the work. You're just not conscious of it.
That's very important. So listen up, people, because I run into a lot of people, friends of mine, and people that I just run into in the industry that get very frustrated. They call it writer's block. I don't believe in writer's block. I believe that when it is time for your idea to come, it will come. Now, there are other times when you have a deadline. That's a whole different story. If you have a deadline, you have something you have to come up with, you're writing it for school. Sometimes I work on school projects. I had to write songs for productions. That's exactly what I do. Something else. I do not sit there and say I have to write the song now. I go for a walk. Walks are great. You go to the gym, go grocery shopping, and you would not believe. And also, I carry a book. I carry a little notebook because things come all the time. I've written lyrics down 10 years before I use them. Just 2 lines or something that will rhyme. They're like, I never realized that rhymes. You know, and I'll save it.
Yep.
How about you, Trent?
Well, I'm saying this out loud for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna follow me.
Follow me. I'm right here. Where you going?
I follow me. Now, this is gonna start. It's gonna sound like it's starting to the left.
What?
Porn. I don't know how you feel about porn.
How about if kids are watching?
Well, no, I'm gonna be.
Kids, shut your ears.
I'm meeting.
Oh, just to get your mind off of something.
Well, no, I'm not a prude. Like, porn has its purpose.
But
I'm discovering more.
There's another hashtag. Porn has its purpose.
I'm discovering more and more, because this is not me, people who just sit around the house watching porn. You know, I think it has to do with the internet. And my thing, that's an example of, like me, if there's liquor in the house. I drink? Hardly ever, but it's always in the house, but I'll never drink it unless somebody comes over and asks for it.
Right.
There's certain things that I had to remove from my life, and because I didn't realize it was halting my creativity, just the fact that it was taking up so much time. So I only mention porn because I'm just sort of shocked about how many people just sit around on the internet watching stuff like that.
That's a whole new.
When you could be doing so many other things.
Well, yeah, that's a whole new world.
It's not about porn being bad.
Whatever it is, some people it's shopping.
It's a
they
good
get
point.
caught up
I
in
mean,
something.
You could be doing so many.
It could be social media, though. I mean, it's the same thing,
Yeah,
isn't
same
it?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I get your point. No, but that is so true. You can get really sucked into a big black hole of nothingness, and it saps away your creative space.
Right. No, it's true. And some people are just shopping all the time, or some people they're chasing someone for years and years and years. You know, people get into these crazy relationships and they try to fix other people. That happens too. That can suck 10 years out of your life. Right. And the next thing you know, you have to be careful in the city.
As a survival thing, for years, maybe 5 to 7 years, I would say that I was one of the best, well-paid wedding band singers in town.
Okay.
When I discovered it, I was like, oh my God.
That's right. I forgot you did that too.
I was like, I don't have to go out on the road and do English behaving for a week for $500. I could get paid $700 for doing the Rabinowitz wedding over in the best club in Midtown. I could do. There were a few years I could do 4 weddings in a weekend. I could make $2,500 to $3,000, and my week was free. I thought I'd beat.
That's great.
I thought I'd beat the
That's
game,
a big gig.
and I thought I'd beat the game until about 5 years into it. I realized I hate every song that I'm singing.
Right.
I hate having to learn those songs to songs. I hate singing songs I don't want to sing.
Right.
And that's also around the time that I disappeared and stopped coming into the club. Because I've started hating the act of singing because it was always work.
Right.
I wasn't listening to new artists. There was no time because I was always learning.
You were learning new stuff. You know what I said?
You know
I
what I
said
mean?
to the girls before you got here that I, on my off time, do not listen to music.
Right.
Like, and actually, it drives me crazy. Like if I get in a car and somebody's playing music, I want to scream because that's what I do 2 to 4 nights a week. And then with the teaching, it's all about music, and I have to find new songs, learn new songs, print out lyrics, and then I do also do like private parties,
Right.
things like that. So you have to learn things all the time. And so for me, what's relaxing is talk radio. That's
Right.
one of the reasons I love doing this. I love listening to people talk. It relaxes me.
Yeah, right.
If you don't mind me playing devil's advocate,
No, please,
it
go
does work for some people to try to find the day job that matches up with their dream, right?
Yeah, no, this is really interesting.
No, I mean, it took me a long time to find that, but once you do, it does kind of like hone in everything, right? So for me as a writer, I now write full time. And that has its own challenges. You have deadlines, you have people telling you what to write, you have all kinds of stipulations, but it's really made me very disciplined. It's really kind of crunched me down a little bit and made me a bit more flexible and made me grow in
So you
ways I
just
wouldn't.
said something that is a dichotomy, but so interesting. You said
Yeah.
it crunched you down, but made you more flexible.
Yeah,
So tell me, that's really interesting.
I know. I don't know where that came from. It's
So-
true. It's
so
true.
it
It's like
makes
you're forced to do things that you wouldn't creatively choose to do. And you
Wow.
either can do it, or you next time you say no, I can't do that because you do it badly, right? So that's the crunch.
But yeah,
Right?
and you know what that I mean, I know it's so corny and cliche, but that life begins at the end of your comfort zone thing. My friend Penny James, also a Brit, gave me a journal, and that was the cover. And I thought, that's great, but I don't live that at all because I didn't used to live that way. I'm really a person that has to know what my surroundings are. I have to be very comfortable at what I do. I have to be good at what I do. Otherwise, I'm terrified. I'm always terrified of the first day of anything. And this year has thrown me so many challenges where I had to be out of my comfort zone, like it or not. And I've really said, okay, fine. Otherwise, I don't get to do that. What I love to do.
I mean, how else
No.
can you move forward unless you?
Right.
But sometimes people
Right.
like me, who are creatures of habit, stay where I am because I'm afraid to go and try something new. You know, so
I'm coming very close to tying all my thoughts together as related to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And what I was talking about with the singing,
yeah,
is also what I was talking about. It's like when the actor thought that he had the game beat because I couldn't make the money from bartending because I wouldn't go to bed at night, right?
Right.
And when the actor, and I'm a singer and I'm a writer,
Right.
first of all, accepting that I'm all those things equal, no matter who's paying me.
Right.
When I said I've killed my musical voice, not because I don't enjoy singing, you know I enjoy
Right,
singing.
I know.
I've killed my musical creative voice. I'm not writing and arranging and booking shows of my own because I want to, because I've become only concerned about how much are you paying me for it. And
Right.
I'm so there's only so many hours in the day, and they're all being devoted to remembering the third verse of Gitchy Gitchy Ya Ya. So I had to I had to let all of that go.
It's true.
And I had to go remind myself that I'm a Sondheim person. I like jazz. I like things, and I had to not chase the dollar.
Right.
And then I also had to realize I can't wait until the perfect Broadway show, till the award, till the money gives me enough money to do Lewis and Ella. I have to do it now.
Right. That's
So that
great.
when I do Lewis and Ella, I'm the complete artist that walks in happy, and I book the next Broadway show.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I think that
Follow your bliss.
I think the great thing about being creatives is that we all have a distinct journey, right? And that's what I would advise people, is to find your pathway, right? It's whatever works for your art, make it work. Like, just stick to that. There's no set rule to how you can get where you need to get to. And define success. Define it for yourself, you know, and make sure that your goals are reachable. Set yourself very close distance goals.
Right. Instead of like these, I found that, and just as of late, and I find that that's a trap for a lot of people. They come here and they say, "Well, I have to do this by this time,
or nothing."
Right, or I have to get this done by this time. And if you don't, it's very easy to get discouraged, or even depressed, or even say, "You know what? I don't ever want to do this again." Right. Set reachable goals. And once you reach that goal, set another goal.
Okay, so
Right?
So okay.
Yeah.
So what if you're the president and somebody sits across from you and they say set the goal, and you still don't understand?
Then you do the next right thing. That's one of my favorite sayings. Do the very next right thing. And sometimes that next right thing is, I don't know what to do right now. You know what? I need a cup of coffee, or I need a shower, or I need a meeting, or whatever it is that you need. For me, like sometimes I just have to say, I can't talk right now. I need a minute for myself. I know this sounds corny.
I know what you're
meditation
saying, yeah.
always. If I meditate, and sometimes you don't have a chance. It might be on the bus. How are you going to meditate? I just close my eyes, or I just take a minute and I just recenter myself. That's all it is.
It's amazing. It's sometimes people outside me have always assumed that because I was busy, that I was happy with what I was doing. And I would, sometimes I would be and sometimes I wouldn't, but I would never try to say that I was unhappy or not fully satisfied because I didn't want to sound ungrateful, and especially if they're sitting there not getting what they want.
Yeah, and that's an honest, I like that you said that. That's a very honest answer.
And I think I have always appeared more self-assured than maybe I was. I don't deserve no pity, but what I'm saying is this. Right now, I'm just getting back to the audition game.
Right.
Like for 2 years, without saying that I was going to do it, I've actually employed myself doing my own stuff.
Right.
Without intending to. Well, I'm not plugging. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
You know the weight's been up and down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the last year, so this. I stopped auditioning because I didn't have time. And I started leading this band, okay? This band. See, he's heavier there. Well, it doesn't matter. I thought, weight-wise, that's where I was supposed to be. So, I took on the band. I always wanted to have my own band, but I never thought that I could have my own band because I knew that I wouldn't have enough time to be the actor, right?
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm working as an actor, but I'm not happy. They need a singer. I'm going to do it. And the band said, we don't care what we do. We just need somebody to lead us. You lead, we'll follow.
Wow,
I said,
that's cool.
So I rebranded the band. We talked about. Next thing you know, we're doing my music, and we're off. And then. And people
you let go because you let go. That's what happened. You let go of a result.
Right.
That's what happens.
And then, you know what? And the internet is perception. Perception is reality.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying. Somebody picked up on that band and said, doesn't he have a Louis Armstrong show too?
Wow.
And all of a sudden, the Louis Armstrong show comes in,
there
right?
You go.
And I'm working.
There you go. Yep.
And then I'm so damn busy, I lose 50 pounds without even trying.
Right. That's what happens.
So
now I hate this is an awful segue. This is
we
an
put
awful
that in a bottle for
Yeah.
someone to take because that is a really good formula.
just literally busy and happy.
Now I'm happy,
so-
busy and
happy and busy.
So I'm
Now
not eating the pie.
stop the presses because we've got a segue. We've talked and we've had so much fun now that we only have 10 minutes left.
Wow.
Can you believe? No, this is wonderful.
This is great.
It's wonderful. Kate, may I ask for your help?
Sure.
Can you pass me that sandwich? Yes. So this is our friend Kate. She's going to be on the show down the line. So this is what I made tonight. Every night I make something for my guests.
Presentation, for God's sake.
Thank you for noticing.
I mean, nobody.
So,
I do.
All right. So this is my pulled pork. I made pulled pork sandwich with homemade coleslaw.
Wow.
And of course you got to have chips because it's the end of summer. It's 90 degrees literally today. It's September 26th.
Yeah.
It's 90 degrees. And that's what I made. It's Michael Isaac's birthday today. My friend Michael Isaac. I love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. It's also Nate Bucherri's birthday. They happen to be born on the same day. Two amazing, please eat. Two amazing piano players that I adore. And they're musical directors too. Okay, and then we have cupcakes, chocolate and vanilla cupcakes from Trader Joe's. Thank you, Kate.
The bun is sitting just so.
Yes, thank you. You noticed that. It's all in the presentation. So we have chocolate and vanilla cupcakes from Trader Joe's. We're going to eat those afterwards. This is how I lure in my guests. So let me, as a matter of fact, let's check. Oh, I thought I saw Ron Ruffin. Last week we had Ron Ruffin.
Oh,
he checked it. I know.
My hometown.
Is Ron Ruffin from your hometown?
Me and Ron Ruffin are the only two things that come out of St. Louis since the Corvette.
All right. Ron, did you hear that? So we're going to have Ron on. Johnny Tomato just joined us. Melanie McLaughlin. Rosetta Serino, my cousin. Hi, Rosetta. I just saw her this weekend at Nicole's salon. Jay Rivera, he says, you look great, Trent. You know, Jay is a personal trainer. He was on our show. He was on our second show. So,
Jay's hot.
All right, so you heard so many. Jay is so hot. Everybody. As a matter of fact, that was the whole.
You know
show.
why Jay's hot?
Why is Jay hot?
Because Jay is a sweetheart.
Yes, thank you. Because he doesn't try to be. He's working on a movie, by the way. I'm going to be in that movie. I'm playing a mother in that movie. I'm playing a very controlling mother. I can't wait. And Jay wrote the screenplay.
You are so good on camera.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, you and I have done some commercials in our day. You really did a ton of them in a row. Some really fun ones, and I did a few. And I love commercials because it's quick. It catches something really funny and wonderful, and it's frozen in time forever.
Yeah.
And I find them to be pretty painless to be right. Trent?
Mike said, I used to go, well, why can't I say more? Why can't I get like a big campaign? Why can't I be like the Tropicana guy? And my agent finally said, because you're the guy who's never gonna win. I said, well, what does that mean? Because you're not the one who sells the orange juice. You're the one they can buy, who they show this is what happens to you
when
you don't
drink
when you don't drink orange juice.
Somebody has to be that guy. Yeah. Somebody has to be that guy. Okay, so my cousin Rena has joined us. She comes in every week. Thank you, Rena. Great guest, she said. Okay, so we have 6 minutes. So, Jackie, give us a...
So I don't know whether I mentioned this before, but I became a new citizen. So I took my oath and all that, and prepared to do all the good stuff. And I don't think there's been a better time to really come here and be in America. I think it's a wonderful country, and there's just so much going on, and that's good. There's a lot going on, and it's a lot of energy, and I feel very positive and hopeful.
But people like us need to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
because
putting out the love and the art.
Going on that is stressful. Like I don't watch the news on the days of my show.
No,
I won't watch it. Julie Gus Schneider. Hi, Julie. She's in Morristown.
Julie.
So Trent, quickly, we got a couple minutes left. What? Now you got your band. What's the name of your band?
The band is called Brass Illusion.
Brass Illusion, I love that.
Brass Illusion, and it's a 10-piece horn band. We just Michael and I are down on the Jersey Shore now. And,
you live there now?
Oh, yeah.
That's
right. Down in Long Branch. And so down there we did a concert series called Live at the Pier. Wow. And we did 6 concerts this summer while bringing guest singers each week. So thank God that's over. It went really well, but very exhausting. Yeah, and now I'm getting ready for Christmas stuff. Because we have a show on December 17th at Luna Stage in West Orange. And I've been on phone and emails all day trying to decide where I'm going to book in the city for the Christmas show.
Wow. You gotta keep us posted. Another thing I do with my guests that are on the show, if you have stuff coming up, just email me. Yeah. And I'll definitely talk about it. Great. Like my friend Bob Mundy, next week I'm going to talk about Bob Mundy, who's a great singer that I've worked with at 2018 is Wedding. He is dropping his CD next week, so I'm going to talk about that more next week. And next week what we're going to do is, it's called The Neighbor Show. So one of the great things about living in New York is you have really interesting neighbors. And sometimes...
Interesting.
Exactly. Sometimes they're great, and sometimes they can be challenging.
A little eccentric.
I have been... One of the reasons I love living in this building is because I have amazing neighbors. So my next door to me, next week is going to be Dana and Emily, guy and girl, Nickerson, and they are a married couple. They're both singers. They live next door. They're great. They're going to be on the show. Also, the reason I chose them is because we're all baseball fans, and baseball now is going into playoffs. And Kate's out there. She's a Yankee fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. We know all about it. So next week I have Dana. He's from Chicago, so he's a Cubs fan. So he's going to be and his wife is St. Louis fan. So we got that. And so it's going to be the neighbor show.
Is that not good?
And well, you're from St. Louis, right? So it's going to be we're going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about, they're brand new in the city. They just moved here this year, and they're great singers. And what it's like to be like new, your first year. And also my wonderful neighbor that lived in that apartment before Dana and Emily moved in, Heather Houghton. She just got married recently to a really hot guy. And you know what, Heather? I knew the day he picked you up. That first date, I knew it was going to be a problem, and you were going to marry him, and I was going to lose my neighbor. I knew it. I was like, no! But she was the best. But I'm so happy for you. She moved to Pennsylvania. I think she's in Pennsylvania. So she's going to call in next week. So we're going to have Dana and Emily, husband and wife, my neighbors, and then Heather, who lived in the apartment before them, they've never met, mind you, she's going to call in. So she's a great singer and a voiceover artist, and she's got CDs as
So
well.
how do we listen to that? Is it on Facebook and
So
how,
if you want to
like-
listen,
Yeah.
listen, you go to armeddigitalmedia.com.
Okay.
You type that in, and you will hear it live.
Okay.
Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. If you don't have a chance, or if you just want to watch us on Facebook, you can do that
Yeah, that's
as well.
what I was thinking of doing.
Yep, that's great. Please join us on Facebook, and then we'll always talk about your stuff. And then, if you miss that, I always save the video. You can watch it again. Please come back to my page or someone else's page and watch it many times as you want. Or you can listen to it in podcast on Spreaker, and you'll get that as well. That's the podcast. It's archived. You can go back and listen. This is our 11th episode, and we have had the pleasure of interviewing so many wonderful people. We got about
Do you feel pressure each week?
Yes, I do feel, but now I don't feel pressure to who I'm going to get on the show because I book it in advance. But also, it's so exciting because I'm like, who am I going to sit next to each other? What is going to? It's like that's what I get excited about. What I feel pressure about is staying connected to the radio station. Sometimes we've lost connection. Making sure everything goes right on Facebook. Making sure that I'm ready in time. Okay, so I think we're going to... Okay, so Jimmy is telling us that we're almost done. So those are the things I feel pressure about. But it always works out, and then I just let go. I told these guys...
you're very good.
I love it.
Really?
I'm never nervous while it's taping. I
never knew you were nervous.
You gotta wrap it up quick.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Join us next week on What's the Story with Maria. We love you.
Thank you.
It's fine with me.